Hello. Good morning. So, I want to speak this morning very vulnerably and very directly. And I know this scares a lot of people to talk about what is and what's real. Makes me feel kind of lonely sometimes to be the bearer of truth over and over and over again, and then get to be the butt of everybody's judgment or projection or whatever because they can't see the pure reflection sometimes that needs to be made. It's not fun being a man some days. Right now, I'm going to call it like it is in a lot of ways. There's a lot of projection and a lot of anger towards men and what they've done, and it's acceptable to talk about patriarchy things and that men are the causes of all these things, and we just get blamed for everything. And it's okay as long as we're healing and we're using it to move forward. But a lot of times, what I see a lot of stuff that's stated kind of in between the lines. It's our unwounded. Hello, Sally. Good morning to you. But there's a kind of a wounded stuff that needs to be healed between men and women. And it's talked about at length with women, but sometimes without, in my awareness, without accountability. So it's kind of projected, and then some meme is stated where it's like all men are like this, or like one man did this to me or whatever, and then it switches to all men are like this, and then all of a sudden it's the meme that every woman is putting on their timeline. And I don't think they even really understand what they're doing by siding with old stories and old bullshit that is no longer serving, and we're trying to work through. And there's an opportunity for awareness, and I've reposted some of these, and I've explained what I felt as a man, and everybody runs away from a post like that. And I think I'm being quite accountable. I think I'm being quite objective in what I'm seeing, but we can't hold in this old crap of us against them, or men are bad, or we're the patriarchy, or women are rising up and they're figuring it all out first and they're more evolved. I understand that where that's coming from, and I understand that, and I love the empowered woman, but I'm really concerned that the empowered woman is in a lot of ways in her masculine so much that she's actually a toxic masculine, and they don't even know it. And this may be hard to state or to hear, but I'm finding it really hard to be a man with women that are so deeply in their masculine, and they want to protect, and they want to smash, and they want to be a warrior and all this stuff. And yet all the women are talking about the feminine is rising, and they're surrendering, and they're being in love, and they're starting to understand, and they're accepting their mother, maiden, crone, etc. I agree for awareness, Sally. She said sharing these are perhaps for awareness, but women are just putting a love on it and then posting it on their timeline and propagating stuff. If you go back and look at some of the posts don't actually even mean what they think they're saying. The underlying is complaining about men and to rise up and to grow and all these kind of things. And I, as a man, I'm seeing them, and it's like a poke. It's like, hey, we're not having a conversation. We're not talking. It's kind of like lobbing stuff back and forth over the fence. And I'd really love to have a conversation. I'd really love the opportunity to understand the perspective, how women are hurting, but I don't see any of that in those posts. And then at the meantime, we're carrying this egregious load of stuff that happened and was caused to women, and most men I know have never done anything of the sort to women. We were never in an opportunity of a patriarchy, we were more in our feminine than we were allowed our masculine for most of our life. It is about separation, and it's a tool of the darkness to keep us apart. And all I'm trying to do is reflect back and say to everyone that before we make those posts, before we start poking a finger or making anything about a polarity, a man or a woman, because men can do this. I see it a lot less with men, but we need to start to be aware. We need to start to talk. We need to say, this is hurting me, and here's the reason why, instead of, oh, this male healer leading this group raped me or something like that. Well, yeah, that happened a lot in the past, and we're now moving out of those energies where the darkness was controlling these people, and to get ahead and to be successful and all this kind of stuff, we had holes in our auras and nasty things were happening. And we're now at a point where it's like, hey, how do we build communities? How do we build spaces? How do we show the men how women want to be treated, how they want to be in a consent culture? They want to be in a culture where you can talk about these things in community and not be shunned and banned. And these are all dark shadows of the past that aren't all masculine of causing, that we're needing to heal. And these opportunities, when we see a meme that we love, I'd love if people would start to look into it and feel why it resonates with them. Oh, this is men hurting women. This is me trying to divulge all this stuff and release it in some kind of indirect way through somebody else's sharing, when really it's really an opportunity for us to share and us to speak. It's like, hey, in my experience, I had this experience and I felt really disempowered and it really hurt. And I'd really like men to understand and be aware of why I need to shed all this stuff and poke and project and whatever. And it's a real hard place. What does Vicky say? Some women are taking the divine feminine rising too far, as it creates the idea, I'm better than you. There should be equality. I fully agree. I am also stating that there's no balance. It's like, hey, go divine masculine over there, go rise up, and you really got a lot of work to do and handle it. And here I'm singing Kumbaya with all my loving feminines. Really ask why. And I ask this of women, and they say it's around vulnerability and other things, but why are groups like this not balanced? Why do women have to be in a separate group from men? Why do we keep making it the man's responsibility only? I see these beautiful groups where the women and men interact on a regular basis and hear the perspectives, hear the shares of women in a vulnerable space where they're not being called out or projected on, and we witness it. Maybe we're not even allowed to say anything, but how do men figure out what's going on in a woman's mind? Women don't explain themselves. They don't tell you why they're mad or what we forgot or what we missed. And we just wander in this perpetual, here, read the energy and you'll figure it out. And then the women are angry. They're angry. It's so hard to be in that anger and that frustration and not be able to speak or to respond to the anger or receive it so it can be cleared. No, instead it goes into a group where it's like all kumbaya and they all share it and they all resonate with it. And does it really end? No matter how much of a circle you do and how much talking about it and all that kind of stuff, does it really end until it's presented in an accountable way to the masculine? And same with the women. I've got my fair share of anger towards women as well. And it's really hurts me because it hurts my ability to have relationships. It hurts my ability to grow and change without that openness and without really vulnerable shares like this and discussing stuff openly with emotion and vulnerability. How do we get through it? It's just like some relentless, endless fucking bullshit, like the old matrix, inverted and unhappy. I want to open spaces where we can all talk, where men and women join together in a group and can be equally vulnerable in front of a man and in front of a woman. And if men are hurting women or they're starting to make them feel uncomfortable about, we call it out in the space and then we share that and we realize that there's equal anger and on both sides. but men sure don't express it. And when they do express it, it comes out in really frustrated and angry ways. And it's time to change that. Men have to be accountable. They can't be violent. They can't be screaming and yelling. But sitting here talking about something that hurts me and is hurting women openly and is really hard for people to watch. I'm glad that Vicky and others are listening so that I can share that, and then I can see them maybe share the same way. It's okay to talk about this stuff, but talk in an accountable way. It's not like all women are bad or all men are bad or any of this kind of stuff. It's like, fuck, if we don't join together and we don't start to become vulnerable and we don't start to hold each other accountable, how's this ever going to heal? And I'm so tired. I'm so lonely feeling sometimes because I'm sharing this truth and people don't want to see it. It's deep and dark and it's sad, and I'm glad that it's being received by people like Vicky and Sally and others that are on the live, that we got to bring it into the open. If it hurts, it's all the more reason to talk about it and make places where we can do that and build a foundation of a community or a space that we can go and sit down and share these vulnerable shares and hold them in accountability and bring in love, the opportunity to reflect on everybody's experience, where no experience is too bad or no is bad or wounded or victim or whatever. We just hold each other and say, okay, I see that's happening. How would you like to be received when that happens? How would you like us to act different? How would you like, and men are going to want some stuff too, right? It's like, be vulnerable, share what's going on. We're not women. We're not catty and we'll tear each other down and all this kind of stuff that I see a lot of women do. We're the polarity. We're the space holder. We want to be there and hold and shine and listen and receive, but not through some meme or post or, oh, I join with all women that have been wounded meme or whatever. I want to hear you. I want to hold you. I want to receive it and allow it and talk about it. So just feels like being beaten some days on a regular basis. And I'd love, if you're listening to this, to just watch the memes and watch what other women post and see how men might feel based on that. Because some of the women that I've got through to this kind of stuff, they've realized that there's actually an inversion in some of these memes. An inversion. It feels really good at the front and that we're doing it, but it's actually doing the opposite of what they thought it was doing. And I'm just trying to shine for that and talk for that, because men want to really stand up and men want to really shine their heart and be open and vulnerable, but it's not safe sometimes. And I feel I'm on the forefront of this some days, but fuck, it's like women are so fickle sometimes. They'll love you for 1 minute and then you'll trigger them a little bit and then they don't want to be anywhere near you, and friends come and go and people want to do lives one day and next day they don't want to do live. I don't know what's going on, but I'm just choosing to speak openly and vulnerably and with emotion and sadness and my own fear and my own frustrations and anger, but doing it in an accountable way and trying to bring it forward of how I felt. And then you guys can look and see how you feel. And it's a really authentic space. It's a space where we can conquer anything. So I love you all. I don't hate anybody. I just want this world to be balanced and loving and okay, because it's not okay the way it's going right now. We all have much to heal. I'll be the first to admit it. I got my own shit and I want to be called on it, but not in indirect ways, not in ways that have been used over and over and over to keep me small and that kind of stuff, emasculating or whatever. I want to be directly spoken to. And I love you all. And I thank you, Vicky, for your kind words and anybody else that's watching. I wish you a very great day. And I wish this divide to be cleared. And I wish a beautiful, beautiful space where we all can really self-express and we can start to come back together and feel safe. men and women, and share anything. So I love you all. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Vicky. Have a great day. I love you.